Now, I've not done a video for some time, but I got an email today of somebody asking a question about this video that I did on the 8th of October 2019. Now, I can't change that date, okay, that's part of YouTube, and it's called WD Gann's Secret Reveal Part 7 and Mrs. Good as a Mile, and that's the link to it if you want to type it into your browser. Now, what I was showing you was that that these markets are basically all mathematical. Okay, it has nothing whatsoever to do with people buying and selling anything. It's all a scam, and the mathematics behind it are there to give the illusion of it being random in a way that the human brain can't see. So the human brain is very good at seeing things that are set distances apart, for example, and that's why people like cycles. They don't work, but you'll find that a cycle will work for so long and then it'll stop working. So it's basically just long enough for you to see it. Maybe it takes three tops equally spaced or three bottoms equally spaced or whatever it may be, and then you can pretty much guarantee the fourth, fifth doesn't work. Okay, so what I did was I showed you this set of numbers on a relatively new discovery I made around about 2007. Sorry, 17 should I say. It's just basically adding on to what I'd done in the past, but like I said, every bottom works in its own unique way and every top works in its own unique way. You just got to find out how. Now in this particular case I couldn't work this out until I had two tops. So I've got a top here and I've got a top here, and then for confirmation, because that top was made here, it confirmed to me that the pattern that I was using was correct for the future, hopefully, because again I might have got it slightly wrong. So anyway, this is what it looked like to me at the time. So the dark lines, that and that gives me that, yeah, and that and that gives me that, and halfway between that and that gives me that, and halfway between that and that gives me that, and halfway between that and that gives me whichever one it was, that one or that one, and halfway between that is that, and then halfway between this dark line and this dark line gives me 27.2727, and that's the number that's halfway between the two, which gives me the next top. So it's given me some levels in the future to go and watch. So let's bring it up to date and see what actually happens. So like I said, this is what it looked like to me at the time, and these are the numbers that I showed you in the video up to here. Okay, and I've just worked out what the numbers are after that. Okay, so let's see what happens. Now remember that these are just decision levels. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm saying that's a level to watch, with the most important word in the world: if it gets there. I am not saying anything is going to get anywhere. I can't. I'm not God. Okay, but what I'm saying is, if it gets there, then it's got there because I put the level on before it ever got there. I don't need to say when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen. It's just because on the day that it gets there is the day that I make my decision, and I look at lots of items waiting for these levels to be reached until one of them's reached, and then make a decision. But I don't just do it because it's got there. I want to see some weakness when it gets there. So let's see what happens. So the market goes up. Okay, and we're getting to the level that I'm interested in, so I would then move it into a folder that I watch every day. It's there, and on the day it gets there, it basically breaks it by a lot. Now what I always do is to look at the past. Has it ever broken it by a bit in the past and gone through? Well, yes, it did. It went through 20.833 by a bit, and it went through 22.85714 by a bit. Yeah, so it might break this one by a bit, but this one's actually quite a bit more than the other one, so I'll be a bit cautious. The next day it goes up even more, and to me it looks like it's gone too far. Okay, so it just breaks straight through. Now if it's not going to work, that's exactly what I want it to do. Okay, I just want it to go through. The worst ones are where it shows weakness, gets you in, and then doesn't last very long and goes through. Okay, but then the next major level probably is this one to watch, with a minor one just below. So let's see what happens. So we haven't got there. Still waiting. Comes down, gets up to the level, so I'm looking for some kind of weakness, but it's only a minor level. It shows weakness. Yeah, we could short it with a stop loss above that high, so that if we're wrong we would make a small loss. And the secret to making money, as I've said in all these videos, is when you're wrong you want to make a small loss, and when you're right you want to try and make a big profit. Okay, sorry, let's skip that too quick, but you can see that it did stop it. Okay, and then it broke through. Now if you've watched some of my other videos, then I tell you that if you ever go to the same level for a third time, it normally breaks through to the upside. So if you were to see this, I mean personally, if I was looking at this, I'd probably be stop lossed out there. Yeah, but we've now kind of reached this level here, okay, and we're showing some weakness, so we've got there now, should I say, and then that's where I'd be a bit cautious, yeah, and it comes down again. When I'm placing my stop loss, I would find out what percentage it broke that level by and put my stop loss a little bit more than that, and the same with this, yeah, to make sure that I don't just get caught out by a little bit. And then it comes shooting down and it gives you the next top. I would then move my stop loss from here to above this top here. We then have what's called an inside day, and whichever way it breaks out of an inside day is very significant in my opinion. So if it breaks to the downside on an inside day, that's usually a weak sign. If it breaks to the upside, then that's a strong sign, and I tend to move my stop loss above inside days when they happen. So if it goes up, I'll be stop lossed out. Okay, so I would actually get stop lossed out there, and then we go shooting up. We get stops at the same level again, comes down, and then we going up to the next level. Okay, and this is where it's a dark line, yeah, important. So this would be a place where I'll be looking for a change in trend, and it doesn't actually quite touch it, but that's where we had the big crash back in March. Now once I go below a major low, hit like this one here, so if I put 0% in, you'll see what I mean. Okay, I no longer use that low for the future. Okay, the reason is because I'd also be using this low and this low and this low, but once the market goes lower than this low, I would stop using that low, and once it goes lower than this low, I'd stop using that low, because otherwise you just fit lines in to see what you want to see and you just have lines all over the place. But these lows are also used, and I'm looking for where they coincide, the mathematics coincides, to give me a better chance into the future. So as you can see with this line down here, and we had the big crash, yeah, that we went below that low. So at that stage I wouldn't be watching that low anymore. Okay, and I keep to that rule. You can always do things after the event and say, look, you shouldn't have to, but you can see that something I did a long time before it ever got there was where the market actually topped out. Okay, however, I thought I'd just see if I continued it on after 35%. Right, these are the levels, yeah, that are interesting. So the next one would be 37.93. So I've just had this massive crash, then the market starts to have its big rise. Okay, again, I wasn't watching this anymore. I'm using the low now from this low down here. Okay, and I'm using these tops now to work out levels for the future. Now interestingly, there is actually, from the low down in March of 2020, there is a major level here. Okay, but anyway, I just kept these on just to see what happened into the future, and let's see what happens. Okay, so we're years after I put in those lines on, but again, I'm stressing I'd already taken these off once that went below the low, as I just explained. So let's take that off. So let's see what happens. So we're getting there. Yeah, then it gets to it. I mean, this is one of the problems, has it got there? I mean, it still came down, but has it got there or not? Yeah. And then we're at this level. It's now hit it twice. If it went up to it again for the third time, I'd expect it to break to the upside. Yeah, so I wouldn't be very happy. But you can see that it actually stopped the market for quite a long time. Yeah, 2 months so far. Yeah. Then it goes up to it for a third time in this kind of little movement, or once and then twice, and you tend to break through in a third attempt. Or from a Gann point of view, so I would expect this to go higher now. Okay, comes down and then wham, goes shooting up. And now, as of today, it looks like that, and this is the next level. Like I said, I stopped following this and this once what I showed you before, but there is something coinciding from the low that we made in March at this level anyway, so it just kind of confirms it could be interesting. So I just thought it was interesting. Interestingly enough, I talked about the Nikkei as well, and one of those percentage numbers is actually where the Nikkei stops as well. So go and watch that video I did back in 2018 or 2019, and just showing that everything. So anyway, I just thought you'd find it interesting.